So today's webinar, we're going to introduce our TSCC 2.0. It will be online. It's very likely on this summer. And today is a 1 hour webinar. Our goal is introduce the feature of TSCC 2.0 and let you get familiar with the new features, new softwares, and the new job schedulers. And we will also have more detailed trainings in this summer. In those several hour-long training, we will include more details about TSCC 2.0. So those summer trainings are more like a workshop. So you learn the details. But in today's webinar, we will mainly focus on what's new about our TSCC 2.0. So here, let's take a quick look at the TSCC 2.0. The most important thing is we will have a new Slurm job scheduler for you to submit and monitor your jobs, and this will be introduced in the next few slides. And also we will have a new job accounting and the charging system, and it's still under discussion, but I will mention some features we are going to have for the new accounting system. And currently we are under TSCC 1. We have a CentOS 7 as our operating system, and our next new operating system will be Rocky Linux 9. So that's a fundamental upgrade of our OS. And we also have upgraded our environment module, compilers, and the whole software stack. And we also purchased the new storage and the networking components for all of our TSCC users. And we also offer some new hardware for you to purchase, like this new type of CPUs and the GPU nodes, and some of them are already available on here at the moment. And we will also have a TSCC web portal for users running interactive applications with graphic user interface. And I believe all those new features, software, hardware, will let you research on TSCC even much better than the current TSCC 1.0. So that's our goal, and we are working on it very fast, and hopefully we can bring the 2.0 and let users try those new features in this summer. Okay, so the first and the most important change will be the job scheduler. So now we under our current TSCC, where we'll have TSCC 1, where we'll have a PBS, Tokyo, Maui as our job scheduler. And this kind of this combination actually is very out of date, and it has end of life support for a long time. So under our TSCC 2.0, we will use a very popular job scheduler called Slurm. So to schedule and monitor jobs. And this Slurm job scheduler is popular and easy to use, and has provide very good features for you to prepare and submit jobs. And One other thing I highly recommend it is the almost every features and commands provided by Slurm can replace what you are using under the PBS total scheduler. So you will find that you won't have any panic when transfer your current job scheduler to Slurm. And I will show some commands in the next few slides. And also we will have NVIDIA Bright Cluster Manager for fast deploy the new nodes and the new systems, and for better management manager our nodes. And this manager will be used by us. So we will have this tool to manage your nodes. So as a user, you don't have to learn this, but I just want to add this to show that how some efforts we are trying to do to better manage our cluster. So the job submission with Slurm is actually very similar to what you are doing at the moment. In Slurm, you still need you can still submit interactive job or batch job, but in Slurm the command for interactive submission is called srun, and for the batch job submission is sbatch, and you can still prepare your job script, of course, in Slurm format, and then submit your batch job with the sbatch and your job script. And what's special on TSCC is there are two options in the Slurm command that control how you would like to submit your job. The first option is called partition. Is similar to the current queue in the PBS, but this partition we will use it to define certain hardware type. For example, for define if your computer node is using using Intel Platinum or Intel Gold, or if your GPU node is A100, you define what kind of hardware you wish to use for your job in this option. The second option is called quality of service, QoS. This option in Slurm can be used to affect some of your job's behavior, like what I have listed here. Like it can define your job scheduling priority and the job limits and several other features of your job. And below is a quick example I have in the batch job script. In that job script, those two options needs to be specified, so the job scheduler knows where your job can run. So the first option is, of course, the partition option. It defines the hardware type you wish to use, and the next is called it's about the QoS. So in this example, if the job was submitted with this QoS, the job scheduler will know where this job can start on. Okay, so that's a very brief introduction about the jobs options and the use of Slurm, and we will introduce Slurm more in very detailed manner in our summer workshops. And the next slide is about some commonly used Slurm commands versus PBS commands. As you can see that I list several PBS commands as well as the Slurm commands. I'm not introducing them one by one or asking you to learn it today. That's not my purpose. My purpose is trying to show you that for each PBS commands you use to submit a job, or you use to check the job status, or monitor job, or monitor the node availability. There's a Slurm command that you to replace it. So you don't need to worry that what to use, what can be used under the new Slurm job scheduler, with the new Slurm job scheduler. So that's something I want to show here. And actually Slurm can provide much more commands, like to help you to understand your job. And we will have this listed in detail, and we will learn together in our summer workshops. And that's all about the Slurm job scheduler. And in summary, if you are new to TSCC, or if you are new to HPC job scheduling system, you will find that Slurm is easy to learn and use, and it also provides many powerful tools and commands for you to better manage your job. But if you are current TSCC users, I see most of our attendants today are existing TSCC users, you will find that actually transition from the PBS to Slurm will be easy, and you'll see the similar logic, very similar logic behind how to schedule job and submit job and monitor a job. And as a user, you won't feel difficult to make such transfer. So that's what I want to mention about our new job scheduler. Okay, next is about some new changes of the accounting system. So allocations will be moved to a management system. That system is actually is at SDSC for many years, but many of you probably are not aware of it. But this movement won't affect what you have purchased or what you have owned in your current allocations. And for example, the SUs you have purchased as a hotel user, you will still keep the same amount of SUs into the new system, and you don't need to worry that we will reduce your SUs. We will change your expiration date if you are a hotel user, and as the condo user, your SUs will still be credited annually. So that's as long as you know this is still in TSCC. So that part won't change. We just move your allocation into that system. But one thing is a change probably you need to know is that the allocation on name on the TSCC 2.0 will be different. So you will have a new allocation name for every allocation you have. So you will get to know its name and other things like the SU balance in your allocation, and what kind of resources you will have, some information like that by a new wrapper script provided by us. And you will get to know those informations when running that wrapper on TSCC. And you can get to know the balance and your name, your allocation name, and then add that new name to your job script. And I actually this will be very similar to the script on another SDSC cluster expense. So if you use try the expense before, you probably you know that there's a script that can help you to get your allocation name and the SU balance and the resources you have. And similarly, we will provide a script for you to get those things you need to know when preparing for a job script. Okay, and we also have we are also having a new job charging systems, and this one is mainly focused on more charging your job more fairly. For example, we at the under TSCC 1.0. When using GPU when using GPU cards on a GPU nodes, you need to calculate how many CPU cores you need to ask and add it in your job script in order to start your job on a GPU node. But in our new systems, our plan is when asking for GPU cards, you don't need to specify the number of CPUs anymore with PPN options, but instead you can just specify how many GPU cards you need, and we will charge your SUs based on the number of GPU cards you are using. That's our current plan, and you can find more details about the job charging systems in our summer workshops. Okay, next here is a quick look about the node under TSCC 2.0. So I list the compute node and the GPU node on the 2.0 versus 1.0. And under 2.0, we will have two main types of three types of compute nodes, which are the gold, platinum, and some special hotel nodes versus multiple different types of CPUs on the current TSCC 1.0. And we will keep some non-gold and non-platinum nodes added under 1.0. But they will be decommissioned gradually and based on when they have been added to TSCC. But in the next few years, you will expect three types of CPU nodes as listed here: the gold type, the platinum, and the hotel. And another type is mainly for the hotel. For the hotel nodes. And as for the GPU node, we are offering A100 GPU nodes as well as possibly A4500 or 6000 A6000. And meanwhile, we will add a P100 node to the GPU hotel queue. So that will replace the current old GPU nodes in the GPU hotel queue. And we have updated our condo web page, and I listed here, so you can find the configuration and the price details of those CPU and GPU nodes on our website. And feel free to let us know if you have any questions or interest. Okay, here is the respective changes for the condo and the hotel users. So for all condo users, now you will get a 5-year warranty under the TSCC 2.0, and some of the groups who recently purchased our nodes may have been aware of this change. So now we will offer 5-year warranty for the nodes added to TSCC 2.0, and the nodes will keep on TSCC for 5 years, and that's versus a 3+1 year warranty under 1.0. And we also updated the condo node operation fees and also listed it on our condo webpage. It's mainly about now for the GPU nodes, we will have a different operation fees than the CPU nodes. And for the hotel users, now the CPU group will have 36 uniform compute nodes. I'm saying uniform because if you are hotel users, you will find that now even for now that there are at least 2 types of the compute node in the hotel queue, and one with 28 cores and one with 36 cores, and the memory size is different. So when scheduling jobs, maybe you need to think about the hardware configurations. But now, but under TSCC 2.0, we will have 36 compute nodes with the same configuration. Each one will have 36 Intel Gold CPU cores. And for the GPU nodes in the GPU hotel queue, so the GPU nodes will be will start with one A100 and one P100 node, and each node has 4 GPU cards, and we are adding more P100 nodes to TSCC later this year, and because we understand that how busy the GPU nodes in the GPU hotel now are now, so we are trying to satisfy our users' requirement, and so we hope to add more P100 nodes to the GPU hotel queue later this year. So next is about the new operating system. We are doing this because the CentOS 7, the current CentOS 7 has an end of life date, which is next June. So to replace it, we have considered several versions of the OS, and finally we decided to use the Rocky Linux 9 to replace the CentOS 7. So the Rocky Linux is a very powerful and popular OS, and no cost, and has a very long year support. So we don't need to worry about its support under the TSCC 2.0, and that new OS will also bring us new system libraries and some tools building on it. That's what I'm going to introduce next, which I think is the second most important things I'm going to introduce today. So it's all about it's first about the environment modules. We still have environment modules for our users, and you probably know how to use that environment modules, but there's some changes now, because TSCC 2.0 will use L mode as the environment module to replace the current TCL modules. So the exact change is under TSCC 2.0, not all the available modules will be displayed when running the module available command without loading a compiler. So you will need to we have categorized our software stack into the CPU software stack and the GPU software stack. So that's what can better help you to find out the modules you need and decide what to run, and it's also for better management and for better management and building software purpose. So there is a new module command called, as I highlighted here, called module spider. That this command can be used to see if a particular package exists and it can be loaded on the system. Example is like if you use module spider, for example, I want to know the software called GrowMax. I can just type module spider GrowMax, and in the output you will find whether this software is available and how to what are the dependencies of these modules, and if you wish to load this module, what to load. So the module paths are different for the CPU and the GPU node. When using modules, you can use the module load CPU to load the CPU software stack, and the module load GPU to load the GPU software stack. And we will give more examples and demos in our summer workshops about our new modules. And here is a quick look about our upgraded software stack. And as you can see, we will have newer compilers and MPI implementations, and many of the many programs in the new software stack are also upgraded, and all those software are built by spec, and we will see the whole picture of our software stack during our summer workshop. So that's very important for you guys to know and to learn if you are trying to load the software with modules. Okay, so next is about our new home storage and scratch storage systems. We will have a new hardware for home file systems, but you don't have to do anything to make to apply such change. We will update the hardware for you. So you will still receive 100 GB of storage as your home directory, and for the scratch storage system, we will have a new hardware that has a 2 PB shared Lustre file system for you. So again, you don't need to do anything to, like, you don't need to transfer your files, or you don't need to worry about what your files will be lost when the new hardware in production is in production. We will apply the change, and I think we will notify our users either in training or in our mailing list. And a storage policy changes. Now the additional project storage can only be purchased from and managed by the SDSC. So before, under TSCC 1.0, we have several external mounts that are not managed by SDSC, but under 2.0, we will remove those external mounts and only allow users to get the storage from the SDSC, mainly from the RDS. RDS is a storage team at the SDSC that's providing storage services. And for the researchers working with DB graph data, the TSCC 2.0 will allow access to deep dive data on the cluster without isolating the nodes. So that's a good news for the researchers using the deep dive data. Okay, so new storage and the new network internet. I mean, when saying network, I mean the internode network. So currently, we have Ethernet or InfiniBand as our internode network, but under 2.0 we will have a RACI. The full name is RDMA over coverage Ethernet as our internet node network, and we have done many benchmark performance and tests to prove that it can still show reasonable scaling performance when running on multiple nodes, but will cost us much less than the typical InfiniBand, and we also have newer switches and cables to build this routing network. And we will also have a user portal, web portal called built by the Open on Demand, and that web portal will provide interactive access to many applications like what I list here: Jupyter Notebook, MATLAB, RStudio, and other applications. How to access this web portal is that we will give you we will provide a link or add this link to our user guide, TSCC user guide. You just open that link into your web browser and log in, and you will see you will have access to those applications, and you can view your files and start the jobs with those applications. And you don't need to install anything on your PC to access that TSCC web portal, and it's very similar to other web portals. So just log in and you can see see those applications and start a job using one of them. Okay, so next is about what remains the same as the current TSCC 1.0. So we will still keep our famous condo and hotel programs, and that's about that's about how you would like to have the computational get the computational resources on TSCC, and we will have the same procedure to get to provide a TSCC account for each group, and we will keep your current SUs the same, so you don't need to worry about your SUs will lost. So to access TSCC, besides the web portal I just mentioned, you still use the SSH command on a terminal if you are Linux or Mac OS user, or you use a SSH client from the Windows PC, like what you're doing now. And when you type your username and the TSCC host name, you just enter your TSCC account and your UCSD AD password, or if you are using SSH key, you just authorized by authenticated by the SSH key. And under TSCC 2.0 is still a very typical HPC cluster. So that means we still have multiple compute nodes and multiple users on TSCC every day. And you know that you are not the only person using our cluster. So please do not run those computational intensive applications and codes on our logging nodes. and you still have you can still start jobs, multiple jobs at one time on our computer nodes, and you still receive 100 gigabytes of storage as your home. And just remember, it's still a shared environment. We have multiple users using using our cluster. So let's keep our environment clean and nice. Okay, so here is some take-home messages I listed here to help you better catch my idea in today's webinar. So the first and the most important thing is we will use the Slurm to schedule out and monitor our jobs on the TSCC 2.0. And it will use two basic commands to submit jobs, the srun and sbatch. And the srun is for you to submit an interactive job, and sbatch is for you to submit a batch job. And the Slurm jobs on TSCC will have the partition option, which defines the hardware you wish to use, and will also have the quality of services options defined. That will affect how the jobs can run on TSCC. So those two we will give more details about the Slurm in our summer workshop, and also all common PBS commands can be translated to Slurm. So that's another good news for our current PBS users. And the nodes about the nodes under the TSCC 2.0 will be more homogeneous, and we will have less type of CPU and the GPU nodes. So the nodes will be more homogeneous, and but they also, generally speaking, they will have more memory and more cores and better GPUs than now. And I then mentioned several new software, middleware, and hardware. What are they? And they are the Rocky Linux 9 will be our operating system, and we will have a new environment modules for you to load CPU or GPU modules. Now we divided our modules into clearly divided our modules into CPU and GPUs, and we will have a new software stack built with the new GCC and Intel compiler and built with their related NPI implementations. Hardware-wise, we'll have a new file system, new hardware for the home and for the scratch. And network-wise, we'll have a new Rocky network. We have done multiple tests on it and proving that with this new network, we were still showing some very reasonable benchmark performance with those commonly used software on TSCC, and we will show those results in our summer workshops. And lastly is there's a new cluster manager called Bright, which is purchased from NVIDIA, and we will use this Bright manager to manage our cluster. Okay, so knowing this, what's happening next? And I mentioned multiple times in today's webinar, more trainings are coming in the summer to help you get familiar with the TSCC 2.0. In those trainings will be much longer than today's webinar, and be prepared to receive those new features and job tools in detail. And we will show you demos and examples and show the benchmark performance of our new system. And of course, we will get more chance to help you to learn give you more chance to learn our systems and answer your questions and the discussion with your needs if you have any special needs. And so that's our plan, is that those trainings will take at least a few hours long. And it's likely that for now that we will have more than one trainings, but each training is identical. So just in case you can attend one, you still have chance to catch another. And the next important thing happen is we will open test classes for our TSCC users. So you can log into the test cluster and test the jobs submitted by Slurm. Get a chance to look at the new systems, such as the new job scheduler, new modules, and those stuff, and you will have a chance to feel how the new system will look like. Okay, here is our TSCC SDSC user services. So you can always reach out to us by this email address and see. That's unique to the TSCC, because I know some of you may send it to the general SDSC email address. So that might, if the request was sent to the general SDSC email, a ticket can still be created, but it might take some time for our staff, SDSC staff, to transfer your request to the TSCC team. So if you send your request to the tscc-support@ucsd.edu, your request can be created as a TSCC ticket directly. So I can see your request immediately. So that will help you to process, help us to process your request much sooner. And the next is also we have our new TSCC website, and we will update our more information about TSCC 2.0 on our website. And once it's ready, we will send you the notifications about the update. And last I want to mention is that we are offering some partnership in research. So if you have any ideas about how to use or topics about how to start your research on TSCC, please feel free to let us know. Okay, so that's all the introduction I want and the materials I want to share today. Thank you so much for coming.